Welcome to the Bugatti stand at the Geneva Motor Show 2016, and this is it, the big one, quite literally, and in terms of the internet. This is the brand new Bugatti Chiron. Now, last night I was looking at the internet, and I'm sure a lot of you were, and I saw the first pictures, and I read the press releases and the numbers, which we'll get to in a minute. And I have to say, I was a little bit ambivalent. Yes, the numbers were hugely impressive, but I just thought it was a bit of a Veyron plus. So now, having seen it and talked to a few people, I'm going to tell you why you should actually care, particularly as an Evo viewer, about this car, the Chiron. Let's start with the design. I think in pictures it can look very simple, almost dull, but you see it in the flesh or the carbon fibre as it were, it is beautifully wrought. It's very simple, but you just get amazingly clean lines on it. The one I love is going up over the bonnet there, and then down in this spine along the back. It's reminiscent, obviously, of the famous Bugatti Atlantique, and it is just a lovely, lovely thing. The other line that obviously stands out is this one here. Now, they're saying that any line on this car really was a case of form following function. So this is supposedly the cleanest way of actually getting the air into this radiator here and then channeling through the duct there. They worked hugely with this car to get all the hot air out of the engine, which is the thing they really struggled with the Veyron. We've obviously got a massive 8-litre W16 engine in the back of this car with 4 turbochargers. That produces a huge amount of heat, 60,000 litres of air going through this car every minute. And it all has to get out somewhere, so the back is now extremely open. With that sort of size of engine, of course, the figures are absolutely extraordinary. So 1,479 brake horsepower, 1,180 pounds-foot of torque. Now, you might be thinking, well, the Veyron had a huge amount, particularly in Supersport form, a huge amount of power. So how is this going to be any different? You look at the top speed, they're saying 261 miles an hour limited. That's not even as fast as the Veyron Supersport. Ignore the fact for a moment that it slams into that limiter like a brick wall, apparently, and will repeatedly go on to probably more than 275 miles an hour. We've heard that tyres might be actually sort of the limiting factor on this car. Ignore that for a second. The acceleration times give you a hint of this. So 0 to 62 miles an hour in under 2.5 seconds, but here is the absolute killer one. 0 to 124 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds. That's just extraordinary. That's crazy. It'll go on to 186 miles an hour in 13.6 seconds, and then it will get all the way back to 0 miles an hour in just 275 meters. So you've got to think here, right? You're traveling along at 3 miles a minute, and then 275 meters later, you're at a standstill. I think that's going to hurt. That's all I can think at the moment. But what I was going back for is that torque number. So 1,180 pounds-foot of torque, but it's the way it's delivered that really changes the way this car drives compared to the Veyron. The Veyron had its maximum torque, which was still over 1,000 pounds-foot of torque. That came in at 3,600 RPM. Now, the quad turbochargers on this are all dual-stage turbochargers, so maximum torque comes in from just 2,000 RPM and is then sustained all the way through to the rev limiter. This apparently changes the way the car feels hugely, because suddenly you're not waiting for that sort of turbo lag or latency. It's just there, instantly, that much torque, and apparently the effect is fairly extraordinary. Anyway, that's enough about the outside of the car, and let's go and have a look at the inside, because I think that's fairly extraordinary as well. So I've just been told that we're actually going to be the only ones allowed to film inside the car, which feels like quite a privilege. So the interior of the car, again, I think one of the things it's always been quite hard to get over with the Veyron and now with this is it looks very simple in here, but it's the quality of the materials that really stands out. If you think of something that's very well built, an Audi R8, for example, which this wheel is clearly actually based on, but it's taken to a whole other level in this car. It is just, everything you touch is absolutely beautiful, and these beautifully milled indicator stalks here, so the paddles to this wonderful carbon, which is in matte on this wheel, it really is a lovely place to be. This amazing speedo in front of me going all the way up to 500 kilometers an hour, which, well, we'll have to see if they produce a tyre that it can manage, then amazing. I talked about the line on the outside with the spine going over the rear deck. That's also mirrored in here, so it flows down through here, and then in this line up round here, which obviously apes the line on the side of the car, which I think is rather nice. And it's also got LED lights in there, which is quite a trick. It's worth just mentioning the gearbox in this car. It's a 7-speed gearbox, dual clutch gearbox, designed clearly by Bugatti, so it's not lifted from anywhere else. I don't suppose it could be, given the sort of figures that are going through it. The clutch is apparently the highest performance clutch available in any production car, so I can well believe that. Paddles, short of throw, but I imagine you're not really going to have time to worry about that when it's accelerating. Now, I had a chat to somebody about the chassis on this car. It's got an adaptive chassis, and it's obviously still four-wheel drive. Something, the Veyron, it was a car that we weren't terribly enamoured of in the way its dynamics, I suppose. It was effective, but a little dull, quite agile given that it weighed nearly 2 tons, but not really engaging. This car, I've been told, is very different. They've come at it with a clean sheet of paper. Apparently prototypes said it was nigh impossible to get. You just couldn't get understeer in this car. But even more impressive, once you're past the apex and you get on the throttle, again, we've got to work torque really low down, 2,000 RPM. This is a car that will oversteer, apparently. It will oversteer, four-wheel drive oversteer, so should be controllable, but yeah, I'm excited by that idea. It feels like a lot of cars sitting here. It feels really, really wide. It's 40 millimeters wider than the Veyron, which wasn't exactly slim. It's 2.3 million euros plus taxes, so I really shouldn't get used to this because I'm not going to be able to afford one. Let us know what you think on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and the website, which will tell you any other details I might have missed out on this car. Hopefully you have some of the details I've explained to you. Have they made you more excited about this car? Explain perhaps that it's not just a Veyron Plus, it's a whole new thing, as they say. So yeah, let us know on the various social media channels, and yeah, hope you like the car. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other vehicles like this. We thought we'd just come over here and show you what 8 litres of W16 quad turbo engine plus 7-speed dual clutch gearbox looks like. It's enormous. I love the carbon fibre right here though. It's just, yeah, you can kind of see where your money goes.